much trial and trial, here I am speaking. So hello, I'm Mia Rios. How's everyone's afternoon going? Good? Okay, so hi, my name is Mia Rios, and I am one of the co-moderators for the panel. I became involved with L.E.A.D Filipino through their Baha'i Creative Cohort Awareness and Action Program, or AAP, and that's how I met Janelle. And now currently as a co-lead for the Community Outreach Subcommittee for FLYPINAY, shout out Community Outreach. So this year's FLYPINAY Summit theme is I got me, you got you, we got us. And for today's Fireside Chat, the theme relates with the relationship bonding between the mother and daughter roles among Pinays.
Thank you so much, Mia, for your introduction. I'm so excited to tune into this conversation, but first, of course, we have to introduce our guests. So Divina Natividad is a strong-minded Filipina born in Tarlac, but raised in the Bay Area after migrating at the age of 12. She's the youngest of 7 siblings, mother to 5 girls, and grandmother to 12 grandchildren. Shout out to Lola with the grandchildren, yes! Divina is a beautiful survivor of decades of domestic violence and a devout woman of God, a free spirit who is happy to help or lend a helping hand.
And Emerald May Rubio is your authentic therapist, collectivist healer, hope dealer, licensed marriage and family therapist. This CEO of Set Free Marriage and Family Therapy and co-business partner to Set Free Fitness is one of the few mental health providers in California that holds in-person healing circles for survivors of sexual trauma.
So the first question we wanted to ask is, what is your mother or your daughter's go-to dish, Filipino dish?
Well, I don't cook, so I just go to Kalesa. Or, my sister right here, she's the cook, so she's the chef. She cooks all the food, and then I just bring the entertainment. I'm just hella loud. We do the healing circles, we do the games, and then my mom, we she's always with the panakbet and the lumpia. No? And the pancit. Yeah, for sure.
All right, yeah, those are all great meals, and I would love to bring my own box to the house and sample some of Sister's meals and carry that on through the house. Let's see. So the first question that we have, for Divina, how has your identity as a Pinay in Filipino culture and family upbringing influenced the way that you parent?
Thinking about it, when I was, because I was raised in the Philippines up to 12, 13 years old, and that's when I came here. How my parents raised me then was, my mother was very nurturing. My father was the military guy who served World War II. And he was very disciplinarian, I remember having my brothers and sisters, the 3 oldest one. If one was at fault, all the 3 of them got punished. And May and I were talking this morning, and she was saying, that's how you treated us. The first 3 kids were disciplined if one was at fault. So in the back of my mind, I guess that's what I did also. Well, and then when she immigrated here, though, she, well, you forgot that Grandpa, he survived the Bataan Death March, and the Japanese were in the Philippines, and he actually saved Grandma Mila, and she was a kid, she was orphaned, and it was that person, he took her under his wing, and that was the lady that petitioned my mom to go to America, and so she adopted my mother.
and her mothering style was super different. So your bio mom was nurturing, but Grandma Mila was different. In what ways?
Yes. My mother, because I was adopted when I was 10 years old. Then I joined them here when I was 13. So it was like night and day. You know, I had a mother in the Philippines who was nurturing, and I had a mother here who is more focused on security, stability. I have to work, I have to pay the bills, I have to pay this house. Some lawless here, I'm sure they can relate. Yeah.
Thank you for the insight that you both have shared that have influenced the role that you hold in parenting. Thank you, Davina. And I want to ask a question that explores furthermore into how that dynamic has influenced the relationship between you and Emerald. And Emerald could also contribute her answer to this. So how have the dynamics in your mother-daughter relationship shifted across the life stages from being a child, adolescent stage, and adulthood?
Yeah, first. The hardest part was when they were being teenagers. When they were teenagers. And, I would talk to my I didn't want to talk about it, period. I didn't want to talk to my coworkers because they would talk about you. You know, I was working in the electronics industry, in the corporate world, and that's all they did is they chismes about me. Yeah, somebody's laughing, so somebody can relate to me. I didn't want to talk about my girls. Oh, they were wild. They were wild, and I said, I wasn't like this when I was a teenager. You know, I had secrets. I had a lot of secrets, and I would go out, yeah, but I was not this wild. Why are they like this? I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk to your grandma because all she'll say is, well, we go to church every day. You know, we pray for you. We stay there extra just so we can do the novena. Oh, God. So I didn't want to talk about it. And all we did was work. You know, all we did was work. My husband and I, all we did was work. And 2008 is when the recession came. Oh boy. All those money earned, all those houses that were earned were being depleted. And I said, I need a break. So I went to the Philippines. I went to the Philippines with my youngest one, who is 16 years old at that time. And it was like a night and day again, because I haven't been there for 40 years. I go there every, 9, 10 years? So I had to reacquaint myself in being a Filipino.
Yeah, I think that it's beautiful that, Davina, I heard you say that you didn't want to talk about it, right? The experience of raising your teenage daughters. And here you are on stage sharing with us this experience. And I know for me, as a mother, and also to my own mother, it's beautiful that now we are talking about it, right? Because now we can bridge that gap and have an opportunity to have a conversation.
Well, at that time, when the girls were teenagers, there was nothing like this. That's why I appreciate that you have this kind of group.
Mom, you said you were shy. You're hogging the mic, all right? Okay. So we got so many different versions of my mom. And so just to paint a picture, so I'm the eldest of 5. They immigrated here and they got a mortgage. They didn't really get much guidance on really how to do this parenting stuff. And so a lot of the things that got passed through the bloodline is, they call it discipline, but if we're being real, it's, it was physical abuse and it was emotional abuse. And, she got that. Well, actually, you didn't get that because you were the baby of 7, so you were the protected one, but we got that. And so as kids, I didn't understand it until I was a mother myself, but I didn't realize how hard it was for her. Like, why was she so tired? And why were they never home? And why did they have to work all the time? And the way that I took it was just like, these people just don't love me. They care about work more than me, and that's how I interpreted it. But that was not the case. And so all this time that, so I'm battling with my own feelings of rejection and feeling abandoned by my parents because I have to play the mother figure for my siblings. And sometimes we had babysitters, and some of those babysitters, they were unfortunately very sexually abusive. And so I think that's when I started to have a lot of anger towards my mom, and she didn't know what was happening. And so what looked like, oh, these are just a bunch of wild girls wilding out, going to the club and sneaking boys in the house, and and Grandma said that you did the same thing too. So I don't know. She told me before she passed away that she told me that you were at the discos and that you were sneaking. Yeah, and you were sneaking off, and that's why she sent you to San Jose, because you were being wild. So I got it from somewhere. But anyways, so yeah, my teenage years, we were very rebellious. And at that point, like, because I was feeling so rejected and so abandoned, like, my thought process at the time was, you know what, I'm just gonna find some boy to like rescue me, and someone is just gonna save me, and hopefully I'll just get adopted to some family. And I didn't care what color it was. I didn't want Filipino because I was like, dang, well, I don't want none of that, right? I ended up with the Filipino though. And then, and so she went away, right? And then she came back into my life. And now she's like, I'm here for you. I'm like, what do you mean you're here for me? Like, I didn't ask you to come here. And she moves her things. She doesn't ask me. There's no boundaries there. She's like, I'm living for you now. I'm here to help you. I'm like, Mom, I literally didn't ask you. And so it was a year of like all this triggers and trauma, and I'm going through grad school, and I'm like, and so I'm being combative with my mom. At that time, my mom's hella chill, she's calm, she's putting Vicks on my feet, like when I'm sick, she's taking the kids to karate, she's taking them to hula, and I see none of it because I'm so upset about who she was before, that she didn't protect me, and that she beat me, and that she didn't say all these nice things, and I couldn't see it. And so I would just be so combative. I'm like, well, on December 2022, like, why did you do this? Or how come in 2011 you didn't do this? Or 1995, why didn't you? And so these were the type of conversations that I'd be just combating with her. And, she's like, why do you have to continue to open the box? I am so done with this. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say sorry over and over again. Like, when are you gonna, like, let up? And so she goes back to the Philippines. And I have my aha moment. And I'm like, I'm in church, and the pastor's like, at some point, like, you have to stop repicking the scab. Like, when are you gonna truly forgive and move forward? And it was at that point that I finally got to see her for who she was, that, she was a survivor of domestic violence. She was in that hustle culture, that she was doing the best that she could with what she was given, trying to raise 5 girls. And, I'm just so proud that she was able to, kind of show me that, hey, I can change, because that's not the person she is today. She's very kind, she's loving, she's a free spirit that does whatever she wants, but whatever she wants is serving, being a caregiver, and volunteering at Fish and Loaves. She's not selfish, she's not impulsive, she's not abusive, she's different.
And that's the power of being a Pinay. We are different. And we want to own that difference. Right?
Right.
Yes. So thank you, Emerald, for sharing. So there were like a lot of layers and experiences that you have shared, as well as Davina, where like, you know, these experiences where you felt like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk about it. I don't want to like, you know, own that like, you know, these instances happen. But the fact, like as Janelle said, the fact that you are talking it in the stage right before us with the whole audience watching us, it's showing that you are owning it and accepting it. And then the way that you've spoken very kindly of your mother, Emerald, saying that she's very kind, compassionate, she's very like selfless doing her work. So that is like taking a step beyond cultivating that mindset and like seeing, like rising above the hurt and the pain that you were going through. It just sounds like you went through healing work and yeah, to gain that like compassion and like, you know, the skills that you have in the therapist work that you have now. So I am very proud of you. I commend you for your healing work. Yeah, you deserve to be proud of this case. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next question. So as I did mention, your therapist background. So the purpose of a career and what guided our work ethic has shifted through the generations. What motivated you to pursue your career and what challenges came with it? How did your relationships influence or support you?
For me, my mom.
For you, Emerald.
You know, so my dad, he gave me 3 options because I was very lost, and I obviously wanted to still appease him and, you know, get his approval. So he gave me 3 options. You're either a corporate lawyer because they make hella dough, and then, or a business owner or an accountant. And so I tried. I really did. I took the classes, and it just didn't feel like me. And you know, it was actually in the midst of all of the trauma that we were going through. So, you know, there are times when mom had to call the cops on me, and then, you know, at the age of 17, I just had to call the cops on her. And I know it was really scary at the time, but it was actually going within those systems, because for the first time in my life, I had to get 5150, and I went to a children's shelter, and I went into a group home. And so that moment, I got insider scoop as to how these systems operate, and I really didn't like it. I mean, imagine being in a room full of traumatized kids, and they're like, oh, well, you know, we're gonna diagnose you with depression and give you Celexa because you got molested by your uncle, and so there's that. I'm like, this is not how you treat someone, right? And even though I had that very monumental moment in my life, I was still trying to appease my father. And so I asked my mom, like, Mom, what should I do with my life? And, you know, she said something that, like, a lot of Filipino moms would not say, which was,
Whatever makes you happy. I said, choose your happiness.
and so she actually told me that, like, I think age 20, and I was still trying to be the business owner. You know, I tried to be the real estate business person that my dad wanted me to be. And we were on, you know, one of the business trips in Hawaii, and we're just sitting out there with the, you know, you see the beach in front of us, and she's like, you know, what do you want to do with your life? And I just got so triggered. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to do what I thought you guys wanted me to be, right? And I was so pissed off at her. I took the first trip out to go back to California. I didn't want to be around this woman, but it was actually at that moment that I finally switched my major to something that I wanted to do, and I knew it for so long that I wanted to become a therapist. So it was my mom that gave me that push and that boldness to do it, because she's like, at the end of the day, you're the one that has to live with yourself. You're the one that has to wake up every day with yourself, so why not? And it made me think, like, yeah, why not? Then I should, if it's my life and I'm the one that has to walk out with it, then I might as well do something that I'm called to do. I might as well follow my purpose rather than following, you know, someone else's purpose. Like, that's just exhausting.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. And to hear you guys both give each other that positive affirmation and that reinforcement of, like, your mother telling you, do what makes you happy, and genuinely wanting to see your happiness in the work that you do. I think those are some of the themes that I take away from this conversation, is to be bold, to be brave, ask the questions, have the conversation, right? And then the other thing is reaffirm each other, you know? And when I heard you guys speak about how tough it was to navigate these dynamics, you guys didn't back down. And I think that's something that I take in pride as a Pinay, is that not backing down from it, especially when it's hard. So I think like, for me, listening to your guys' journey, it's absolutely beautiful because I want to replicate the resilience of not backing down, rebuilding my relationships with the other Pinays in my family, and also reaffirming each other in the work that we do, right? Regardless of what it is. It may not be my forte, but to see each other happy. Those are some of the key takeaways that I got from your conversation. So I appreciate the both of you guys taking the time to really reveal yourselves in a very intimate way, because it's not always common for us as Pinays to open up and have these conversations and say things are difficult amongst each other or to one another sometimes. So I really wanted to say thank you guys for that. And I also wanted to put a reminder out there that we actually have the Asian American Recovery Services available here in the back. So if anybody's feeling like this conversation is too heavy, or if you want to start the conversation, you have an opportunity to do so, and this is a safe space to get that support. So shout out to everybody in the back for Asian American Recovery System. Grab a card if you need it. And thank you, Emerald and Davina and Mia, for this wonderful conversation. We do have a decompression activity because we know this is very heavy. I feel like I need a little stretch and relax and shake it out situation. So I would love for Mia and Emerald to lead us in a little mini decompression session.
All right. I mean, before we do, like, so I just want to remind everyone, like, everybody's family dynamic is so different, and it wasn't overnight to get like this. I mean, it was really hard for my mom to be able to open up. Like, I had to be the one to, like, you know, hug her and tell her I love her, and I would bust out the healing cards. I would try to have healing circles with her, and she would have none of it. She's like, oh God, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I bought so many boxes of conversational cards, but like, I don't know what it was or what it took for you to finally like allow yourself to just, you know, give into the healing process and, like, you know, be close to me.
I thought we were going to the movies or somewhere. And she said, okay, I bought this for you in the Philippines. It costs $200. I said, what is this for? I thought we were going to the movies.
No, we're going to FLYPINAY. We're on stage.
We're here to FLYPINAY.
I know. But the only career I have now is taking care of my auntie, who is 89 years old, and she is onset dementia. I have a 92-year-old cousin here in San Jose, so every time I have to call for an ambulance, they have to call me to come here or drive her to her doctors, or go to Safeway for her. She's asking, you know, where is that 3 pounds for $1 banana? I said, those days are gone. And I volunteer at Loaves and Fishes in Pittsburgh at the dining room and kitchen. So that is my career right now.
Thank you, Davina.
All right, we're gonna shake it out. So
we're gonna go into our decompression activity.
All right.
So stand up, stand up, stand up.
All right, this is what I like to